everyone. Today I want to do something a little different with you guys, and I'm going to paint a ginormous sheet of Arches cold press watercolor paper, and this is the big sheets that you can buy, and they're, I don't say 22 by something, but let's see, 12 and 10, so yeah, 22 by 12, 24, so 22 by 30 inches, I believe is what these are. So it's the great big sheets you can buy. So it doesn't all fit on my camera. From here to the edge, there's about 6 inches that you can't see, so I'll do my best to try to keep it all in camera. And it's slightly, here's the edge of the paper just outside the frame, and then of course the top is just a tiny bit outside the frame. So I'll do my best. But my point with painting a great big sheet is to paint a great big one and then cut it up into smaller pieces. And I want to do it with a color palette inspiration, so I did pull out a color palette from Color Cube Volume 2. And I do that simply to give myself some direction, to make it a little bit easier to start painting and going in different ways. And I'm considering using watercolor and acrylic paint, so we'll just, the point is just to be crazy and fun and cover the page. And then from there we can go a little further and just see where we can get. So in that color palette there's like an ochre, so I might pull out this ochre from the Kuretake set. There's also this pretty pink, so we might pull a pink out. I really like this color here, and it really reminds me of Naphthol pink from the So Flat paints, so I think I'm going to pull that out. This is more of a burgundy, and I might get the acrylic, Blick Matte acrylic in that kind of burgundy color. We got a pretty gray here, so I could pull the gray out, and then that's a pretty bright red, so maybe cadmium red. So you can see I'm just pulling different options and at least giving us some direction. I thought maybe I'd be pulling out of the Art Nouveau set, but I didn't really end up doing that. So these are kind of where we're starting. And because I'm going to cut the whole page up, I'm not super worried about getting mistakes or anything on these. I'm going to go ahead and activate these. And I've got water off to the side. I'm going to set these over here to the side, and I'll pick one up as we use them. Kind of thinking I've also got palette paper, so we know the colors that we're going off of. That's card 321. And I'm almost even kind of thinking great big brush and just see, you know, where's all this going to take us. Maybe I'm going to open this one. And I could start it off by drawing before I even get everything going, because kind of help us get rid of this blank page. So this is just that big Lyra 6B water soluble graphite. And then I'm just going to continue, you know, my drawing off the page a little bit. And I'm not worried about where things are going, because we're going to look for interesting stuff after we get this started. So there we at least got us started. These are water soluble, so I can just use a great big brush and just move some of it around. And I don't know where is this going to take us? Yeah, so we can see a little bit of the bottom here. I'm just one gigantic piece of paper. Alright, so I'm kind of feeling like maybe start with this pink over here. Circle things in my way if I'm going to pick the paper up occasionally, so I'll move some of that out of the way. Oh, okay, I'm already loving it. A little bit of water on the brush. Maybe some more water in our paint. You know, and this is a nice low stress way to go big. You know, if you're like, oh, I never go big, I don't know how to do it. This is a nice low pressure, low stress. Let's go big without making it hard on ourselves, because we already know as we're getting started that we're going to cut this up. And if by any chance you get to the very end and you're like, best thing I ever created, I'm not going to cut it up, then bonus. But start off something like this with the intent of, we're going to cut this into interesting, smaller abstracts. And with the big piece like this, that could easily be, you know, 11 by 14, 8 by 10. It can definitely be different sizes and interesting things. And then we can start mark making, pulling in different things, different colors. Play with all your supplies that you have. Don't get stuck. Ooh, I like that right there. Look at that. Woo-hoo-hoo. Oh my gosh. This is the most fun when you're just kind of playing with no plan. There's no expectation, so I'm not going to get stuck before I even get anywhere, because there's no expectation of where we were going to end up. Okay, I like that. Okay, so the red, I don't know, the red's kind of scary. So maybe the red should be like an accent and not something that's like all over the whole piece. So whatever color that you're scared of, maybe use that as, you know, an accent or a little bit on one of the pieces, but not necessarily all over. But now that I said that and it mixed with the yellow, looking really good with the yellow. That actually looked really good there. Kind of want to mix it with the yellow. Let's get that yellow back out as I dip my finger into that pink paint. Okay, with the gray, that turned a little bit muddy. And I've got naphthol pink all over my finger because I just stuck my finger in the lid. I did happen to notice the paper that was leaning off the edge was starting to curl down because it's wet. You know, another thing about working in this way is now we can turn the paper around and continue working, so that's kind of fun. So I have this burgundy that we put out over here, and this acrylic paint that I'm just kind of mixing in here. Okay, that was rather stunning there with that color. I'm not even thinking in a good way. Maybe it is though. All right, let's run that over here. Don't think I want it as vivid. Okay, see, I like it a little better when it's not as vivid. And I'm kind of, not on purpose, but I'm kind of skipping the middle here a bit. All right, so we got that color in. And I also like the naphthol pink. Let me move a little TV tray I got beside me over so that I could set that paint palette there. So the pink, let's just grab what's in this lid here. Oh, I could use this paint palette here. Let's see, hang on. kind of water this down a little bit as I'm going. Okay, I like that. Now we can kind of, if we're wanting to get an idea, like what do we got here? We could kind of start looking and just seeing, like, is there anything in here that we're liking, that we're feeling like, you know, as we're going, is going to give us something cool? Because once we cut these into smaller elements, and really we could just cut it into a third, and a half also. But once we do that, then we can mark make and continue to add interest in places that we think are appealing. I don't think I'm done painting yet though. And we could, you know, encourage some drips also. Like on this paint over here, it's already kind of wanting to drip, so I could go ahead and encourage some of that. Okay, I like that. So that was cool. I could do that a little more. I could add some more color. I could think about it for a bit and say, okay, what? I could go ahead and cut these into interesting things. So let's let this dry for a minute and I'll be right back. All right, so this is, I think it's mostly dry. There may be some where I've dripped water on it with my brush. This was a Royal and Langford Jumbo number 40 that I was using. I don't think I told you what I was using. And I've got a great big mat here that's bigger than what I normally use when I do cutout pieces. But this, the outside of this is 9 by 12. And so what I thought I would do is just search out compositions that we liked, and then I'm going to trace the outside and use that as my guide of where to cut these. And so I'm just kind of searching out like spots like this right here. Like I really like this. I like this coming in. I'm okay that there's a lot of white space in here. Don't know what's on the outside of that necessarily, but I am going to take the whole thing. That would be I guess a better look at that if we did it that way, but I'm going to take the whole thing. But is that my favorite bit? I don't know. And you know, do we have to look at them all the same way? Nope. We could flip this and say, is there a bit that I liked better? Like I'm actually kind of liking, ooh, that right there. I like this over here. I like the drips that came down. So you gotta, ooh, I kind of like this because of these red stripes. I'm looking at composition now and, you know, seeing different things that I really like. And I really like that. Do I like this better than this? Because at this point now you have to be strategic in how you cut these out. If this is far enough over, I could definitely get that. And if I go further down, is there another one down here that I'm seeing that I like? I don't know. Do I like them if it's flipped upside down from what we were just looking at? I know there's the two that I definitely like. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and claim these two and give myself like right there. What do you think about? Well, even though I said right there, we're actually cutting further out because I want to. I'm just going to take a pencil and give myself a cut line. And then these will be some pieces that we can then mark make and continue on and finish off. Okay, so I love that one. Let's just cut that one out. Now, I kind of wish I didn't leave all that white over there, but that's okay because I can work that into the painting with some type of more painting or mark making over there. And I'm going to go ahead and search out a few more and cut a few more out of here. So I'll speed that up for you. Alright, so here's the three that I like out of this, that I love out of this. I also have smaller pieces that we can, you know, cut up and use as elements in other pieces of art. So always keep your scraps even if you don't know today what you're going to do with it, because if nothing else you can punch hearts out of these. Like if I get my gigantic heart, this one's a 3-inch heart, but usually the little heart prompts are 2-inch hearts, but I thought I found a 3-inch one, so I was like, woohoo. So something like this, we can see where we want it to go and punch a heart out of it. Oh, look how pretty that is. And then these you could make art prompts on the back of for yourself. That's pretty too. You can put them in cards that you send to people as some lovely original little piece of art. So that was a 3-inch heart. The 3-inch heart was a little harder to punch out. It is thick paper, but it definitely took some effort punching that down. So don't get rid of the extra bits. Those are good pieces also. And then this was big enough to not quite do one this big, but I could have definitely done the smaller size out of here, like the 5x7. You know, I could have done the smaller size. Ooh, see, like something right in there. So there's other elements in here that I could still maybe potentially use later. I think I'll set that one to the side. So of these, I love these three. They're still kind of drying. They are a little bit wet. And in this case, I might live with these for a little bit and then decide like what other mark making and interesting things can we do with these. And so I think for today, we're going to stop here on creating these nice large pieces that we've cut out. Let these dry and live with them for a little bit, and then come back and do some mark making and finishing touches and kind of add to them a little bit later. So I hope you enjoyed getting a first look at making something gigantic and then searching out great big pieces out of it. And if you can't cut straight on the line, which I wasn't even trying to cut straight on the line because I'm going to continue to add to these probably. You can cut just outside the line and then take your paper cutter and get exact if you feel like you're not going to get a straight cut. And because the gigantic piece of 22 by 30 won't fit in my paper cutter, but this little piece will. So now I can line up the line here with the little thing that lines up here in the cutter, and then I can nicely chop that straight. So if you're looking at that thinking it's not straight, you're driving my OCD a little crazy, you know, whatever. I can't do that because it wouldn't be straight. That is what your solution. Cut it a little bigger outside the pencil line and then line the pencil line up, because this thing has a little wire in it. So you could easily line up your line here with that, and you don't even have to have one straight side to punch it to the top of your cutter, because the pencil line can be lined up with this little wire that's in the middle of this cutter. So just thought I'd mention that, because I know some people are looking at that thinking, oh no, it's not going to be straight. I know that. So it doesn't bother me, because for the most part, if you're doing a piece of art like this, it's going to be under a mat. a bigger one, obviously, to come to the edge, but any kind of corners that you have there are not going to show anyway. They're going to be matted underneath a framing mat, so I just don't care. Anyway, hope you enjoyed first part of this project, and we'll come back and do finishing marks and extra stuff on these later. See you guys next time.